Funding for Student Athletes Speak Out is provided by the law firm of Bowles, Rice, McDavid, Graff, and Love, and by the College of Human Resources and Education, the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics, and the Office of the Provost at West Virginia University.
As a Floridian, coming to the mountains surrounding West Virginia University on an athletic scholarship was somewhat of a shock to freshman Alex Ruoff, as was the cold weather. However, what surprised him even more was the quick decision-making skills required to play Division I-A basketball, as well as the intensity level of the team. Working hard both on and off season, Alex has been described as a jack of all trades who does everything well. He has become a starter for the Mountaineers and continues to wow the fans. In addition to being named a Big East Academic All-Star, Alex also is a member of the Athletic Director's Academic Honor Roll. Former Miami Dolphins head coach Don Shula once said, "The superior man blames himself. The inferior man blames others." Shula was talking about responsibility. And when former Alabama coach Bear Bryant said, "There's no substitute for guts," he was referring to courage. Welcome to Student Athletes Speak Out. This is one of a series of DVDs featuring West Virginia University student athletes who want to address issues that are critical to middle school students. Joining me today is Alex Ruoff, a guard on the WVU men's basketball team. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. It's nice to be here.
So let's begin with a few definitions. What is courage?
Courage is meeting your fears head on. It's doing what needs to be done, no matter what others might think of you.
Good definition. What about responsibility? What is that?
Responsibility is being accountable for yourself and sometimes for others.
So when you think of the two words, courage and responsibility, who do you think of?
I think of my mother, divorced from an abusive husband, raising 3 children on Social Security and disability checks while fighting a chronic muscular disease called multiple sclerosis.
Tell me a little bit about your mother when you were growing up.
She raised my brother, my sister, and me as a single parent. She really defined what it means to be a hard worker.
MS, what is that exactly?
MS is a disease where the body attacks its own tissue. It affects the central nervous system, including the brain, spinal cord, and optic nerve.
And what are some of the symptoms that are associated with that?
Basically, it was weakness and fatigue. She had problems doing everyday activities, such as go to the grocery store or clean the house.
What was the main thing that she taught you as a family?
She taught us to attend church every Sunday and to pray.
And what did you pray for?
I remember praying that God would take special care of her.
And is that something you still pray for today?
Yes, it is.
I know that you lived in Ohio, and then you decided to leave Ohio and move to Florida.
Winters were very hard on my mom. Her multiple sclerosis would act up when it got cold. She was in an electric wheelchair for several years. I remember times she would try to do stuff without it, but consequently she would end up in the hospital.
When she was in a wheelchair and the disease seemed to be at its worst, did she work?
She wasn't able to. We relied solely on her disability checks and Social Security.
Income was tight at that time, right?
Those were tough financial times.
Were you aware of it as a child?
My brother and sister and I weren't. She kept it from us. She didn't want us to worry. She did her best to keep her worries to herself. I think she wanted to protect us.
Were there times when you wanted something or your brother or sister wanted something and you couldn't have it?
No. My mother always made sure we had what we needed.
Did the move to Florida help?
Yes. Immediately she was more active. She was able to do chores around the house, still confined to her wheelchair.
And didn't she go back to work at some point?
When I was in 7th grade, she became a substitute teacher at my middle school.
Did she continue while you were in high school?
When I went to high school, she became a full-time teacher.
So when you were in the 10th grade, a miracle occurred. What was that?
Every year my mom goes for a checkup to see how bad her MS has gotten. One day she went for an annual checkup and the doctor said her multiple sclerosis was gone.
What did you think about that?
At the same time I had my doubts, I was very excited.
Did she get another opinion?
My mom and I are similar. She also had her doubts, so she got a second opinion right away.
And what did you finally conclude? What happened?
My mother's very spiritual as well as I am, so we just call it a miracle.
Moving from your mother to your time in Florida, tell me a little bit about your middle and high school years.
It was a lot of fun. I started playing basketball in 7th grade and continued through high school.
When did you start dreaming about getting a college scholarship?
When I figured out that getting an athletic scholarship meant my mother didn't have to pay for college, that became a goal of mine.
Tell me how you're responsible with regard to your family.
I'm the first child to go away to school. My brother and sister attended college only an hour away from my mom. So I want her to know that I'm there for her as she was when I was growing up. I do that through emails and calling her every once in a while.
What about being responsible on and off the court? How are you responsible on the court?
I attend all my meetings, all practices and workouts. I do what I'm expected, at the same time doing extra.
And what about in the classroom? How are you responsible there?
I attend all my classes. I study hard. I maintain a great GPA.
Now, we all like to think of ourselves as courageous people. Sometimes we are and sometimes we aren't, but tell me about a time when you were courageous.
Well, sometimes it takes courage to do the right thing. Once I signed the National Letter of Intent, any poor decision I made could affect my scholarship. My actions would not only affect my reputation, but my school and my family's.
So, Alex, what advice do you want to give others?
Every day, you have the opportunity to be responsible and to do the right thing. Sometimes that takes courage. If it takes courage to do it, it's probably even more important that you rise to the occasion, because maybe nobody else will.
In addition to being named a Big East Academic All-Star, Alex Ruoff also is a member of the Athletic Director's Academic Honor Roll. With a major in history, a minor in sports psychology, and a love of athletics, he is interested in the teaching and coaching professions. He certainly will be a stellar role model for both his students and his athletes. If you would like to get more information on Alex Ruoff or on courage and responsibility, please visit our SASO website.